Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got an atrocious rack, no vowels. If opponent changes, I will change too. But if they play a vowel, it may be better for me to play through that. For example, I would have prang or prong through A or O. Only marginally better than changing. What about an I? I am looking to play off 4 consonants if I'm not changing. Not seeing anything with an I or a U. Okay, so 36 for opponent. I do have a prang spot for 10 points, and I think this is better than changing. Yeah, it takes out 2 double letter squares and it scores 10 points. Wow, what a pickup. I kept 3 consonants and I've drawn 3 vowels and the blank. This looks jolly close to a bingo. I have renegado through the G, reopened through the P. Just wondering if Campy takes an S at the front. I think it does. And there's a lot of points in M, P, Y and C. So I have endorse in column 7. If that takes an S, that stays available. Oh wow, 51 points for opponent. Now, there's a double lane. I was looking at the P in prang for reopened. But look at this. 90 points for reopened as a double. And quite a balanced rack. Good scoring tile in the J. And ENRS, all very bingo-y. I have a 13-point lead. However, J is not bingo-y, nor is the U. I could play J through the E of a wheel, J-E-U. I've got the same play in column 7, but using my E. What else is there? Nowhere super hot for the J. I don't mind burning one of the S's, but there are no great S spots. What about J, E, U, S and Scampy? 27 points, that's not fantastic. Now, opponent's taken 1 spot. Oh, look at this great spot for the J, but I can't get it to play twice because I don't have an A or an O. So close. So, what am I going to do? Is there a way of playing off J and U and hanging on to this E? Opponent has taken out 2 E's, which increases the value of the one on my rack. So, what about playing deuce? I am taking out an S lane, in fact taking out 2 S lanes. But the score is good. Is there anywhere else for deuce? Let me put this back. This doesn't feel great, although the rack leave is good. I just don't fancy taking out S lanes when I've got a couple of S's. So I have J-E-U-S down here for 33 points, keeping column 7 as an S lane. Taking out this triple letter square as a spot for opponent, providing very little because there are no 2-letter J plays ending in J. So the slight demerit of burning the E, but I think overall this is the best I've seen. Oh no, J only takes an X. Okay. Now, sprang is good. So, does that provide a better spot? 19 points, painfully low with the J and the S, but good rack leave. I'm keeping column 6 as an S lane. I just feel there should be something a lot better than any of the options I've considered. 16 for J, US and she. What about playing Joe's 27 points? I think that's better. This isn't a terrible rack leave. The U goes quite well with the N and does serve to balance the vowels and consonants a bit better. So I am going with this. So I have ruings, reusing and signeur. Signeur does not take any hooks. So ruings and sprang. Joe takes an S in front, but Joe's doesn't. So will I get my bingo down fast? My lead is just 20 points. Let me check Scampi. Not good. Okay, so it's just the sprang spot. Oh wow, so when I was contemplating Jers and Scampi, they were both invalid. Fantastic. Now, I don't think reopen takes a P, but it may do. However, both P's have gone, and just one blank to come. So ruings and reusing in row E at the moment, making sprang. What else do I have? Campi takes nothing after it. What about the L? Not seeing anything with that in any position. Wow, still no A or O on my rack to hook or to go underneath the J. Will opponents spot this S spot and take it out because I played the S very cheaply, so he or she can probably infer that I have the other. If I click on finger, this is the publicly available information about my opponent, and it's not very much. So opponent taking a while with this play, maybe thinking how to take out this S spot, but what am I going to do if that happens? Joe's has taken out the S front hook for he, so I may be scuppered, which would be annoying. I've got nothing ending in W. What about the H? Ushering. That doesn't work. H and D. Close to shuddering. Now, great, my bingo lane remains available. 26 for opponent. Do I have a bingo through the V? Don't think I do. U and V, one of the worst combinations in Scrabble. So I think I'll leave that alone, and I think it's to my advantage to play in row E because then I'm creating opportunities in different parts of the board, one of which will definitely be available for me to have first dibs at. So the Q is still to come, but the alternative to playing ruins is reusing. And I think opponents likely to score more off the E than the U because the hotness of this U isn't just putting a Q in front, it's also playing across from this double letter square, and more tiles go above an E than go above a U. So I'm going with this. Well, pretty grim, but 7 random tiles. What can you expect? So, not seeing anything with the V, which is a shame, because if opponent, for example, bingos through ruins or does something like that, my plan of having first dibs at the other hotspot on the board doesn't look like it's going to work out. What about a play through the I, getting the K or W tripled? No. Nothing in column 13. I do have an O for going underneath the J and an A. Not seeing anything. Kowtow through a T. Let me see what this scores. 24 points, keeping 3 vowels. Well, better than changing. Stops opponent using this triple letter square for a big score. Still 2 S's and a blank to come to go after Kowtow. I lead. It's not a great lead. What else can I do? I don't have to play off W and K because they are my only consonants. 14 minutes on my clock. Opponents created nothing with ducks. No obvious hotspots. What about a WH play going through the D? Not seeing one. Kowtow doesn't feel optimal. I can't imagine hasty playing that. Just coming back to this I, considering a W here, but that's not suggesting anything. I do want to play off 2 O's. OWS not good. I have Woo down here, 22 points. That's probably better. Well, is it? It provides a very easy spot for opponent to score well with a parallel play. 12 minutes on my clock. I am struggling here. I don't like Kowtow, but I've not seen anything which is obviously better. Nowhere on the board for Woo. That appeals. What am I missing? What about playing Woo down here? 19 points, keeping the K back. I think I'd rather turn over one more tile. I'm going with Kowtow for 24. Wow, I draw the Z, which is a stroke of good fortune because the Z goes well with vowels. So I have Zoea on my rack. And ZOEAE. Do I have anything with the V? V and Z don't go well together, so I don't think I do. I have a doze on my rack. Do I have a 6-letter play? I don't think I do. A doze, well, it plays in column 12, but placing the Z next to a double word square, which I don't like. I lead by about 50, so a close game. Azedo is good, but that doesn't score very much. Zoo takes nothing before or after it, so Ducks was a nice play. It scored well and gives very little back. And if opponent plays from the V onto this triple, he's not going to be creating many opportunities. Res is good. ZE is good. Zag is good. But none of these are presenting good scoring opportunities. If I had a U, I would have Zuave through this V. I have Asia through UR. 28 points by putting an E next to this triple letter square. I could just play ZE and UR. Interesting. I've got ZEA and JAR over 30 points. Opponent again spending a while on their play. Last time it was to play VT. Great, just 21 points. Well, I've got options here. I was just thinking about the longer Z plays, but this is the only one which gets the Z doubled. This is 30 points. The rack leave isn't terrible. Now, is there anything which extends onto the L? No, because it would be Z-O-E and then J-E fails. I think I do need to get the Z doubled. The alternative would be a play through this I, getting the Z tripled on one of the two triple letter squares. Not seeing a way of doing that, and burning vowels. So this doesn't feel a great play. It's better than ZE and your, because although it's 3 fewer points, I'm burning a vowel, and 1 consonant and 3 vowels is much better than with a fourth. Okay, 11 minutes on my clock. I am going with this. Not good, I only draw vowels and a quasi-vowel. However, it's not terrible either, and the Y holds out some hope of scoring. Zia doesn't provide much for opponent unless they have a 4 or 5 letter play onto the Z, which I have. I have oh yes, 32 points, that's half a bingo. My lead is fairly precarious. A bingo for opponent would put them in the lead. I don't think there are any 3-letter extensions to Campy. If there were, it would score a lot of points. Now, what about column 12? Can I get my Y doubled? I don't think I can. So I've seen oh yes, that's not a great play, although it's 30 points and it's a good score and it sorts the rack out to some extent. Placing O and Y next to a blank square and a double word square provides a lot of scoring opportunities for opponents. The Y can be made into a 2-letter play with B and F, 4 of those to come. I don't think there are any 3-letter front extensions to Zia, although I'm not totally sure on that. Row O is a bingo lane beginning with L, but I'm a long way away from one of those. Still 2 S's and a blank for column 15. Will I come to regret kowtow? Now, column 8 provides some scoring potential onto this G. An O and a U can go next to the P. I'm not seeing anything there for myself. Great, just 15 points for opponent. Fantastic. So, I do have Yid up here for 26 points. I think oh yes is better. Opponent trails. They trail by 46 points. They'll be trailing by 70 or 80 after oh yes. Bingos, although I am creating a bingo lane, it's not one that can end in S or E. The real danger is from F and B, which will be part of a non-bingo. If I draw an F and a B, I get to play there. And if opponent plays there, well, there'll be parallel opportunities. I don't love this play. 10 minutes on my clock. Can I do better? And I'm keeping a vowel-heavy rack, double A, D, E, and there are still 3 E's to come, 3 E's to come. I'd quite like to break this pattern of vowel-heavy racks. Let me count the remaining vowels. 16 out of 37, slightly vowel dry. I don't think there's anything I can do about column 15 or the L. Now, have I exhausted column 12? No, I haven't. What about doing this? Yeed for 28. Well, it's still providing a parallel opportunity and it's not taking out any bingo lanes. I think I would like this play if it played off one more vowel. But do I have any 5-letter plays on my rack? I don't think I do. Wow, tricky, tricky. 8 minutes to go and 32 tiles to come. Ner takes a K in front, I believe. I am going with a yes for 32. Well, I miss the B's and F's, but I can still take out that spot. If opponent leaves it alone, I don't have a bingo. But if I play off 2 A's, I would have a decent 5-letter set. I can play off 2 A's top right, taking out column 15. So maybe opponent will be attracted to column 3 and won't score very much. In which case I can play double A, taking out column 15, and then the bingo lanes will be really limited. Not many bingos begin with L. Now, I'm not attracted to playing double A next to Oh Yes, because that's setting up a 7-letter S lane. But I could play Aida, A-I-D-A, or something similar. The Q still to come. Wow. Well, if I draw that, I could have cat top left, only 2 A's to come. So the Q isn't a bad tile for me, and also caddy in column 6. So what I'd like is for opponent to play in column 3 for a lowly score, not creating a bingo lane, and I get to play double A top right. But let me come back to column 3. If that's the place where I should play, what's my best play? Great! I think the plan is working, because a bingo lane in column 2 would have to have a 3-tile overlap, at least. Opponent hasn't scored that much. They were only able to get there a 1-point tile next to the Y, so less than 30 points. This is what I'm thinking. Double A, 18 points. Takes me over the 300 mark. I'll be a bingo ahead. 25 tiles in the bag. Wow. Anything better than double A. Nothing created by opponent. Is that right? Do I want to turn over more tiles to expedite the end of the game? I could play Aid, Mod and NYE. Opponent has lost contact or quits. Hopefully they will return. So what about Aid? 22 points. 4 more points than double A. Column 5 is a bingo lane, but only for bingos beginning with E and hooking MO. This I is pretty dangerous. Oh, my clock is ticking. The game has resumed. Now, I've just noticed that I have Idiata down here for 37 points. And although that's providing some scoring options, I don't think it's creating a massive bingo lane. So I am going with this. Well, I missed the Q. However, I also missed the V, and I missed duplicating the U, so this isn't completely terrible. I've turned over a lot of tiles. I have Fogu on my rack, which plays in column 12. And that's going to be close to 30 points. I lead by 90. I may be able to outrun a bingo. I don't have anything to go in front of Aney. Great, just 22 points for opponents, 16 tiles left. This is what I'm thinking of. Fogu, 30 points. It is creating a Q spot, but that's the worst case scenario, and it only scores about 40 points. And this is burning 5 tiles. And the rack leave is pretty decent. Let me check the remaining vowels. 8 out of 23. Yeah, I feel reasonably good about this, but is there somewhere better for Fogu? Well, I'm not sure there's anywhere for Fogu. Anywhere else? I am going with this. Wow, I missed the cue. Actually, that's a bad thing. Opponent may have it and could play Quaff. So what do I have? I've taken out the L for row O, which is good. I guess opponent could win if they've got a Q play followed by a bingo. So I have the ubble ending. Through a B, I would have bribable, but that would be 3 Bs. Now I have wabblier from the W. I have a bingo. Wow, fantastic. But is opponent going to bingo in column 15 using an S? It could happen. But I think at the moment I have wabblier. Wow. Does opponent have the Q? Well, no, yes, he does. 42 points. I was going to say he didn't have it on his rack last time, otherwise he would have played VAT, cat rather than VAT, so he picked it up as one of his 3 tiles. So, do I have anything ending in T or N? No. 7 tiles left. I'm going to be emptying the bag, but I think that's okay. Wabblier for 73. Bang! Fantastic. Now, even if opponent bingos, and they may, I think Fusilier plays in column 6, then I win. I think my lead of 120 odd points is going to withstand everything apart from a column 15 bingo beginning with the F next to this I. But opponent does have Fusilier in column 6. Let me just check that that doesn't score enough. 68, 371, plus 18, 389. No, that's a long way behind. Fantastic. Well, the last thing I thought of when I played Kowtow was that I was going to be playing a bingo down from the W. But there was one there with an otherwise fairly unpromising rack. It was balanced, so I had reasonable expectations of scoring something, but I didn't have a bingo in mind when I first saw it. So, what if opponent misses a bingo? I saw Fusilier fairly straight away, but it's not an easy one to see. It ends double ER. And, well, it is also possible to overlook floaters. Or opponent may be concentrating on column 15. I think they would need an F next to the I and an E next to the R because no other tile goes to the right of the R. Wow. Has the tiles for florets if the T was 1 higher. I think the U is scoppering opponent in column 15, F and U not massively bingo-y. So supposing opponent plays his F in column 15, but it's not a bingo and I get to play. I have 5 minutes. Yep, just checking column 5. Any bingo there would have to begin with an E. I don't have one. I don't think I have anything through the I. Where are the other lanes? N not available because Scampi not good. Only a weak player would think that it was. Tin takes an E. Well, I don't have one of those. I think Soritic might be good as a 7, but just nowhere for it. Yeah, I'm just checking that that doesn't play in column 15. I may be confusing that with Noritic. Anyway, I think the game is secured unless opponent finds a miracle bingo in column 15. and they have 4 minutes to achieve that. I'm still scanning the board in case there are some bingo lanes I've overlooked. It does happen. Emo only takes an S. Now Caney is good. Yeah, opponent finds their bingo. And the final score, 389 for opponent, 429 for me, a winning margin of 40 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Absolutely amazing finish with Wabblier to secure the win. So it was opponent to go first, played Campy, and I had Prang for 10, and I think that's fine. Opponent plays a wheel, which was a great spot, and I have this fabulous rack, and I play reopened for 90, and a few other 90 pointers available. Opponent's rack plays Ho, and wow, this was a rack I spent a while with. In the end, I went with Joe's for 27, keeping Nurse, but E5, Jaws and Sprang for 33. Yeah, that's also good. But I think I prefer Joe's. It provides nothing for opponent, and Nurse, despite having a U, is a good rack leave. Nice rack for opponent. No bingo. Plays Vitae. And here we go. I play Ruings. B8. There was a bingo through the eye of Signure, but I think Ruings is better. Nice 42-point play for opponent from an unpromising rack. And here we go. My lead is really small. It's only 27 points. And this was a rack I struggled with. C13. Oh, wow. Awoke. Yeah, so many points that despite keeping 2 O's, I think that would have been the play. Instead, I play Kowtow for 14 fewer, keeping AEO. And AEO is not 14 points more than double O. Double O must be worth about minus 7 or 8. And AEO is also going to be negative, probably about minus, well, a similar amount, maybe minus 6 or 7. Because although the duplicate O is avoided with AEO, the sheer number of vowels counts against it. So Awoke definitely a better play. Opponent plays Vil. Now, Ados. Well, that is in column 12. I thought about that. I didn't like placing the Z next to this double word square. So I went with Zia for 31, which is only 9 fewer points. Keeping OD in addition to AE and providing very little. So I like my play. Opponent's rack plays Tin. And another tricky rack, and look at these, look at the rack leave of the top option, pretty awful. So I go with Oh Yes, yeah, and I like that. Opponent plays Damn, and now not a great rack, and this is where opponent did me the great service of losing contact and quitting temporarily, because after a very long time, I saw Idiata. I was all set to play double A. And then with in opponent's absence, I was looking at column 5, and then I saw Idiata played in column 5, but I feared a row H play. This is all while opponent was away, and then I just glanced down and saw that Idiata fitted in column 2. And given that I lead, it was good to turn over tiles to expedite the end of the game, and I wasn't creating a bingo lane, and it sorted my rack out, so everything was good about Idiata. Now opponent's rack plays Vat, and I have Fogu for 30, and now I'm in a good position. I lead by about 90 points. Opponent has the cue, gets 40 points, so my lead only 50. So suddenly opponent is within a bingo's reach with S's and a blank to come. But look at this, Wabblier for 73, absolutely fantastic. Out of nowhere on a board with almost no bingo lanes, I'm able to play a bingo with 2 Bs, and that secured the win. Opponent does have bingos, but only through this I for 68 or 62 points, and it's not enough, and I go on to win by 40. So absolutely amazing game, super exciting stuff, very, very close, and the difference all came down to spotting the bingo with Wabblier. So absolutely tremendous fun. Many thanks to opponent for a great battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.